Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all, thou art all, thou assumest all forms, thou art the origin and goal of all, thou art the self of all, thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto thee, may the world be peaceful, may the wicked become gentle, may all creatures think of mutual welfare, may their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Opening song, a song being sung by Sri Ramakrishna. It is in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So Shrikant will sing that song.
You are my all in all, O Lord. You are my all in all, O
So, dear friends, this is the first time that I am giving this Sunday lecture when the chapel is closed for the visitors, the devotees to come physically in, and thus almost all the listeners are to be online. And in a way, it is good because you can concentrate more, you can just listen more to the lecture rather than looking here and there. So, you can concentrate more on what is being actually spoken and discussed here on this topic. The topic is a very important one, and based on the discussions, the questions that have been asked many times, that we pray, but why does it not get answered? And we shall try to see what kind of prayer it has to be. There are prayers which are coming from our lips, and there are prayers that come from the deep hankering for something. It is, let me begin with the first aphorism of what is called Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Sutras of Vyasa, the aphorisms about Brahman or the ultimate reality. And the first, this aphorism is Athato Brahma Jijnasa. Translated in plain English, it would mean now, therefore, is the inquiry into the nature of Brahman or desire to know Brahman. It is Atha, Ataha, and Brahma Jijnasa. Atha means now. It is, and therefore, Ataha is therefore, and this desire to know Brahman. In the title of today's talk, you can see that it is and. There are dots before this word and the earnest prayer springs up. What it shows is the sentence can never begin from and as such. There is something that has gone before that, and in context with that, in connection with that, this word and is used, that this is how things have happened, and thus now this prayer springs up. So something has happened, something has gone in one's life, and therefore now one is seeking this wisdom, this knowledge of Brahman. And this atha, now, signifies that before this, the person has struggled a lot in this world, hankering after various desires which naturally present oneself, the sensual desires, the attraction towards various things, that is spontaneous in a human being. That is how one is in this world born, that there are the desires. The desires can be, of course, they differ from person to person, but the common aspect in all of these is that something that appeals to one's senses and feels a pleasure that connects that person to that object, like the instinct. It is instinct. The desire there, even the name desire is rather a derived one. It is an instinctive drag that compels a person to go for something where the pleasure is being perceived, seen. And as one goes towards those objects, the desire for pleasure uh, does not really get fulfilled to the extent that one thought that it will be. The desire persists, and one tries various different objects to fulfill that desire. So, and they keep on increasing and multiplying in one's life. The object of desire gets fulfilled. Means you get that object for which you had desired. But the objective behind that remains unfulfilled. What I mean is like you wanted to say eat something that you thought is very delicious and will give you a lot of pleasure. So you got to eat that. You somehow fetched it and then have eaten it. That has been accomplished. But the objective doesn't get fulfilled in the sense that the joy, the fulfillment that you expected from that act is not there. And so the desire is again there. You want to eat something else now. It is, or you want to do something else to fulfill the desire for happiness. And then after a while one feels that these desires keep on multiplying. They create a bondage and misery too. So one sees very clearly now, till now it was not seen clearly. Now, after making lot of such attempts, one sees that that is not the way to fulfillment. This idea keeps on striking again and again and again. Takes long time for many of us that we feel that okay, this is life, although I am not getting fulfillment, but maybe it will come later. I am still very young, and maybe after a few years of this of struggling, my objective, the desire that I am craving for will come to fruition, and thus my life will become fulfilled. But that does not happen. So now the person comes to this understanding that I am making some mistake somewhere. There is some difficulty, some problem. I am not going on the right track. And then comes the idea that okay, now I have to stop, ponder, and know exactly what the reality is, what the truth is. The person sees the fleeting nature of all these objects, recurring of the same desires again and again. This same thing keeps on happening, and yet we see that not everybody gets this sense that no, I have been making some big mistake in this. Gradually we see that these things get crystallized in life. Whatever we were hankering after, every such attempt becomes gradually a crystallized habit in us, and we feel we cannot live without it. Those hankerings, for those hankering, we keep on praying. Our prayers also are of that nature. We want the objects like being a person, normal person is centered in a physical body, and all that is connected with the physical body. So we see, especially in these days where this tiny virus is causing the whole globe totter, and so we are praying for the physical well-being. That prayer is earnest. Oh, keep me safe. It is springing automatically. We are doing everything, but this prayer also comes specially when you start seeing the symptoms of the disease in yourself or some near and dear to you. Some time back, just a couple of days ago, I got a phone call from a frantic call from a scared mother that my child is sick and is showing some symptoms like that, and the fear and the urgency, the earnestness in the voice was quite apparent. Why? Because the physical existence of ours, and what is ours means of the body, and whatever is connected with the body is paramount at one stage. Now, therefore, the prayer for its protection springs up automatically. It is, you feel that this is important in life, and I am not getting it on my own efforts. Through my own efforts, I am not able to get it. So, a prayer steps in. Oh, please, please, give me that. There are so many times we must have automatically prayed like this, that oh, may this happen. It may not be praying to some Lord, not that you are going to some worship place and doing it, but it springs up when that desire is earnest, and you see that there is no way that you through your own efforts can achieve it. So this is the introduction to this that knowledge of Brahman, desire for the knowledge of Brahman does not spring up. It is, we feel that the other things are more important. There is, somebody was telling me yesterday at night at a phone call that it is, that person said, well, I am trying, but I am too late, I think. I said, no, nobody is ever too late, and nobody ever is too early either. One need not think that I am too young. At this young age, why should I think about God? There are other things. Am I too young to think about God? No, nobody is actually too young. And nobody is too old. Even at the deathbed, one can start this spiritual practice or praying. One can still pray even on the deathbed. It is never too late either. So, this thought becomes very strong that all these things in this world that I had been hankering after, they have created a bondage, a cocoon around me. I now first I went on my own to seek those. Now they are pulling me. I do not go to seek those on my own, but now the rein, as it were, that reins are in the hands of those objects, and they are dragging me even if I don't want to go. That is what happens. They become addictions, and we get dragged behind them, and we see that we are really feeling powerless now. How to get rid of all those bondages? And then, when we read the books about the various Indian religious or spiritual books, we see, like Bhagavad Gita, that these bondages have been accumulating for past many, many births, and thus we feel powerless now. How to deal with these? How to resist all those things, that onslaught of those, and then that desire for liberation, which is another name for the knowledge of God or Brahman, to be one with Brahman or God, or get liberated. These are all synonyms. So that desire for liberation from all this comes with a prayer, a yearning comes there. And with that yearning, now one goes to seek the way out from the teachers, from scriptures and so forth. So this is how the study of Vedanta begins, that there is therefore that science of a qualified aspirant given in the beginning of Vedanta text, who is the fit, qualified, eligible aspirant for these things. So the most important characteristic is mumuksha, the desire to get liberated. And then it is, before that all other things have been tried. Human beings, although we call ourselves very wise compared to all other creatures, maybe we are wise, but we are expert in trying all wrong things first before going to the right thing. So we are convinced that our running after the objects in this world, that is not going to satisfy us. So then the prayer kind of springs up. It is, all of you must have experienced this in life, that whatever one really needs, the prayer automatically comes wailing up, as it were. You don't have to really pray, that you are in such a situation that there is no escape. You feel that you are caught, and your existence is just now just going to get extinguished. You are almost gone, and the prayer springs up. Oh, somebody, oh please save me. On a couple of Fridays ago, you heard the story of that great elephant, Gajendra. And that Gajendra, that great elephant, was getting drowned. And then the prayer comes up that, okay, liberate me. It is that, please, O Lord, liberate me. On my own, I cannot do it. The prayer is when that spirit of surrender steps in, that you are my protector, as the beautiful song we just heard, that I cannot do it on my own. In fact, that ego becomes a problem there. And so the prayer then springs up. We all pray, friends. We all go to various different shrines, worship places, and churches, and pray. So praying is happening in life. But what happens is, while that prayer is from the lips, it doesn't make any dent on our inner being. It is happening at a conscious level, but at the subconscious level, that prayer is not really making any presence. So it is a very superficially done prayer, friends, and thus that is not a prayer that it springs up. It is done like, okay, now there is prayer time, so that is people, okay, and then start singing or chanting the words which are the right mentioned in the script. So according to those words we start praying. But our heart is not exactly in that. So it is not a prayer that springs up. So how the prayer springs up? It is, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that people say that God does not give visitations to us. We keep on praying, but we didn't get the vision of God. We have been praying for a long time. But Sri Ramakrishna said that, is there the yearning behind that prayer? He gave the example that, look, people shed bucketfuls of tears when there is some worldly loss, some money is lost, or some near dear person passes away. Then people feel lost and shed bucketful of tears. But because I have not realized God, I have not God, my true self, with me. For that does anyone shed tears? That, oh, I am shedding tears, I feel lost, I am gone. Why? Because I am not able to see God. Then if we feel like that, the prayer will come up spontaneously. Sri Ramakrishna gave his own example about it, that he said that at one time the longing for God became so intense that my heart was feeling such pangs of separation, as if the heart is being wrung, squeezed like a wet towel. So it was of that type. And we feel that it happens, that it is even in some small things, when we feel, oh my, what will happen now? Not too long ago, I was not able to find my wallet, and I needed to find it right then, because I was going on a journey. I had to catch flight, and as you know, without you show the your ID, you cannot get into the plane. And so, and it was in the wallet. Now I was looking here, there, and although I was searching everywhere, a prayer automatically was happening. Oh, please, that let that come up quickly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It was kind of a very intense moment. Okay, I found it. It is, but that was that longing. M, the chronicler of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, had narrated an incident in his life that he was having his diary with him. He boarded a tram, and then in that diary was in his hands. Then in that diary he had all those notes of Sri Ramakrishna's conversations when he was with him, and those diaries actually was the source book from which we now have this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So he was going somewhere, lost in his thought, as you know that he was always thinking of God. So in that mood, he got down at a place but left that diary in the bus, and the tram went. When it dawned upon him that his diary, what happened to it? It was like life to him. In his biography, you will see a very touching description of this, that he found it impossible to pay attention to anything else. All that, while taking food, one has to take food, his mind was not there. People coming to see, the mind was not there. Always, my diary. Where is that diary? I must get that. He was frantically, going to the tram office, if they have it. Where can you find it? He told some friends that, okay, please, see if you can go to that tram terminal. And then after 2 days of frantic search, the diary was found in that some lost and found section in that tram terminal. So at that tram terminus that was found, and he said, and then he discovers, and this is happening to M. Imagine how much it would be happening to a person like us, Mahendranath Gupta M, such staunch devotee, one whose soul is so closely tied with Sri Ramakrishna. Even this is happening. He himself narrates that yearning that I had, and in my prayer at that time, when I got the diary, I found that yearning is gone. Now that prayer is not coming up with that spontaneity. So this is what happens, we are not feeling that intense need of God. Okay, that can wait. Let me finish the other business first, and then I will turn my attention to God. Because that is not something very primary, friends, for us. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna mentions, that the question then comes is, how will that become primary in one's life? One has to ponder over what we have been doing in our lives so far, running after various these things, which we thought at one point to be very important. Now, as the time passed on, we saw that, well, it had some importance, but not that much. Those things that I got, they came, they had some sway on my life, but now that is all gone. That holds not much importance for me. Those things come and go. The transitory nature of those things is to be seen. And also, this is the negative, means seeing that, well, that was not the path, that was not giving me actually what I needed. And then the positive thing, what I needed now, what I needed, that I am not able to see. Exactly. But I have some idea that I want the bliss absolute. I want that existence that is absolute. I want the knowledge that is free from all doubts and errors, and the knowledge of everything, absolute knowledge. I want all such things. So now, look at that, where you can get those things. That is the second word in that ataha. Why? It is all right that you had the experience of this world. But why then Brahma Jitnyasa? Because you see that it is available in God alone. It is there alone, in God or Brahman alone, I will be able to get it. Like if you want something, it is these days the stores are having different times, closing early and all that. So something that we wanted, and then it is our Abhijit was going there, but he looked whether it is here, it is there, and then not finding it, he went to the place where it was available in the nick of time. So there was a prayer, before the store closes, let me go there. So it is, this is that it is available there, and before this flame of life is extinguished, let me make all out effort to get it. So Brahma Jitnyasa, that when I realize Brahman, I get all these desired things. That is the awareness. And so now all attention gets concentrated there. That no, getting God, like we heard in the song, you are my all in all. There is no one else to call my own. No one else. God is my all in all. Now, then the prayer springs up. Otherwise, I have my spouse to call my own. I have my children, my friends, my parents, whosoever, my siblings, to call my own. Then the prayer for God realization does not spring up spontaneously, because there are all the other things that are holding us back. Okay, let me first try these things, then I will try calling on God. So, this is a big difference, that Brahma Jitnyasa means all that I want, all that I am seeking is only available when I realize Brahman or God or self. They are all synonyms. So the prayer comes up with that. Sri Ramakrishna is saying, this is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, pray to God with a longing heart. One must have for God the yearning of a child. The child sees nothing but confusion when his mother is away. You may try to cajole that child by putting a sweet meat in its hand, but the child will not be fooled. No, oh, I want to go to my mother. That's all the child keeps on saying. One must feel such yearning for God. He to whom the enjoyment of worldly happiness appears tasteless. It has to appear tasteless, the worldly enjoyment. And because that is not giving me what I am seeking. So, the one who takes no delight in anything of the world becomes sincerely grief-stricken for the vision of the Mother, the Divine Mother, that I want to go to that. I remember one experience, because this is the child's that incident in our mobile dispensary that I used to many years ago go with, and for taking medicines, many people would come in the villages. So this one village, one lady had come with her little child, and then the child was naturally acting a bit mischievous, touching this bottle, trying to take this from the doctor, and so forth, holding on to the stethoscope and so forth. And then the doctor, hey, don't touch, be there, and the mother always holding him back. Now, the mother needed to bring some bottle to take the medicine, and so, but she had forgotten to bring the bottle. So she said, "Oh, I live just there on the. I will go and run and come in a minute." So to go fast and come, she put the child there and then ran. Now the child didn't see the mother and started crying aloud so much. And now everybody was, whatever earlier the child was touching, and we, no, we started giving him, okay, take this. And you wanted this bottle, take this. Oh, you wanted this thing, okay, take this. Now, even if it is pushed in his hand, he would throw it. No, the crying wouldn't stop till the mom came. So this is how the renunciation happens. That no, I want nothing else. And it was a lesson, to seeing that child throwing everything that earlier was hankering after. No, I want none of these. So this is how the earnest prayer really comes. Sri Ramakrishna continues, that earnestness is the whole thing. That restlessness is the whole thing. Whatever path you follow, whether you are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, the vital point is restlessness. You have to feel restless for realizing God. Nothing else should give you rest. And he gives that well-known story here. A disciple asked the teacher, "Sir, please tell me, how can I see God?" "Come with me," said the Guru, "and I shall show you." He took the disciple to a lake, and both of them got into the water. Suddenly, the teacher pressed the disciple's head under the water. After a few moments, he released him, and the disciple raised his head and stood up. The Guru asked him, "How did you feel?" The disciple said, "Oh, I thought I would die. I was panting for breath." The teacher said, "When you feel like that for God, then you will know you haven't long to wait for His vision." Sri Ramakrishna used to call this kind of yearning where the prayer actually springs up as the dawn. So when you see the halo of dawn, when you see that halo, you know now the sunrise is not far away. So similarly, when that yearning is there, then the God is not far away. He then he says, then you will receive the grace of God. When there is that yearning, what happens out of that yearning and restlessness for God, you make all the efforts that the scriptures tell and keep on praying for the grace of God to descend. He used to tell a story that somebody in a family fell sick, and someone said that here is a remedy. First, it must rain when the star Swati is in the ascendant. Then, some of that rainwater must collect in a human skull. Then, a frog must come there and a snake must chase it. And as the frog is about to be bitten by the snake, it must jump away, and the poison of the snake must drop into the skull. You must prepare a medicine from this poison and give it to the patient. In some other versions, it is also there that the light from that Swati star must also get reflected in that poison. So, anyway, so it is the head of the family consulted the almanac about the star and set out that yes, fortunately, it is the Swati star is now in ascendance, and set out at the right moment. With great longing of heart, he began to search for the different ingredients. He prayed to God, "O Lord, I shall succeed only if you bring together all the ingredients." As he was roaming about, he actually saw a skull lying on the ground. Presently there came a shower of rain. Then the man exclaimed, "Oh gracious God, I have got the rainwater under Swati and this skull too. What more? Some of the rain has fallen into the skull. Now be kind enough to bring together the other ingredients." Praying is happening automatically. He is not stopping to look for all these things. He is. But you can see that finding those things are not in any human capacity. You don't know where a skull will be, where a frog will be coming and all that. But he keeps on praying and looking for it. That prayer is earnest, coming up because that family member is really sick and he wants him to get cured. "Oh Lord," he prayed, "now the snake has come too. I have procured most of the ingredients. Please be gracious and give me the remaining ones." And the frog, as it leaped, the snake's poison fell there, and he thanked God. "Oh God, you gave me all these necessary things." So, this is how the prayer then comes. It is, one would have just given up this idea that, oh, how these all odd ingredients that you are talking about, why don't you tell that such a medicine can never be found? That is what many people think about God. That is the position that is taken by some of the topmost scientists and thinkers who see that there is no possibility of our finding what you call as God, and therefore that such a thing like God does not exist. Even if you posit, it is just imagination, because we will never be able to actually experience that. So, one who is really seeking does not take that position that, okay, by the grace of that I will get it. I will not stop my efforts. Here is, that a similar prayer that Saint Paul, Saint John of the Canticle of the Soul, Saint John of Cross. So that spiritual Canticle of Soul gives example of this prayer, that the soul is yearning for the for God. The God is pictured as the groom, and this soul is like a bride, yearning, hankering for the union with God. Already, because of the yearning, there is some glimpse of God there, but the God vanished, and the soul started seeking that God. Where is it? And in the process keeps on asking here, there, everywhere. Of course, you can see the same, exactly similar description in Bhagavatam, that the gopis started looking for Krishna and started asking all the plants and here it is said that those shepherds, that soul started asking that, did you see my beloved? She asked the flowers, the plants, that, oh, my beloved must have passed by you, because while passing near you, my beloved must have imparted his beauty. That is why you are looking so beautiful. So my beautiful beloved must have gone near you. Can you tell me where has he vanished? And then she says that, okay, shepherds, you who go up through the sheepfolds to the hill, if by chance you see him I love most, tell him I am sick, I suffer, I die. This is that yearning. And the prayer is therefore a real prayer. It is not a formal prayer that I mentioned that we all pray, that it is the head, the leader says, okay, come on, let us pray, and members in the congregation, they start praying, repeating the words and so forth. But this is a very different thing. So this is earnest prayer, that when these things have gone, that our heart is feeling the need for God. There is that earnestness, like we feel the earnest yearning for things in the world, that, oh, all these things are going all haywire, my business has gone down, hey, coronavirus, God, please take away this corona quickly, so that my business will start running as it was. Oh, so many people that I know are suffering because of that. Oh God, please take this away quickly, and so forth. We keep on praying that, oh, I needed to go to some place, all travels are stopped, oh Lord, please take away this, make this situation better so that the flights will resume and I will be able to go to India and so forth. These are the prayers that come up automatically. But I want to realize God. That prayer is difficult to come up. So it comes up with increased yearning, and the increased yearning is possible, as Sri Ramakrishna in this context says, that we have to keep on practicing, and thus the yearning develops. It is like those who are addicted to certain things, like if I think of Swami, this Swami addicted to say chilies. Now the chilies, first the chilies, as a baby nobody likes chilies, no babies like chili, but then you start eating, gradually it starts tasting better, and then you start gradually missing it, and when you don't have it, then you go looking where they can be found. So it is, without that the life doesn't look that good. The chilies are necessary, so you pray for that. So like that, begin with God, that God is needed, try to hold on to that, make the serious and deliberate effort. It has to be deliberate to begin with. Make deliberate effort to hold on to God. And the second thing is to learn to despise all the worldly things that you thought are pleasurable, and because of the association one still keeps on feeling pleasure about those. So both these things, what is called by the scriptures, that it is abhyasa and vairagya, that practice the presence of God through, say, karma yoga, bhakti yoga. Karma yoga means try to do some work which will keep on connecting us to God, and gradually it gets transformed to worship. Everything that we do will become then worship, but one has to begin. Similarly, start practicing devotion. It will not be a spontaneous devotion, it will be a practiced devotion. That okay, that is deliberately done. Every morning I will get up at this time and do my worship, my prayers, my say repetition of mantra, and that meditation, attempt to meditate. It will not be successful immediately, but let us do it for a long time and refrain from the attractions. So see the faults in them. That is one way Bhagavad Gita tells, that dukkha doshanu darshanam, janma mrityu jara vyadhi, dukkha doshanu darshanam. See how many faults are associated with all those things. Those things, they are born, you are born, your body is coming up, it stays, it is then becomes old. Also during the course, so many illnesses take over and so forth. So see all these problems, these faults, and then develop dispassion for it. That this is going after it, means going after all the sufferings that I don't want. So what I want, let me try to hold on to it. What I don't want, let me avoid it. So by this practice, the desire for realization of God will become the only desire. It will become very sharp and strong, and the prayers will automatically then spring. And thus it is, we saw this idea Let us meditate on it for half a minute, and then in case if you have any question, feel free to ask. Yes, please. Is there a question, Jitendra? Okay. So, uh, in this situation of coronavirus pandemic, our interfaith group, somebody sent me a nice prayer where we can feel now compassion. This is an occasion where we can feel empathy, compassion for everybody, and thus we can see that I in others. That is one beautiful practice, to see the same self in others, as Bhagavad Gita calls it, Atma upamyena sarvatra. Just as you think of you as a body, try to see the same self in others and feel their pain. So, this is a very nice prayer, and I would like to share it with you. You can join in, it will be on the screens also. So, it is a prayer for this, solidarity prayer for a pandemic. May we, who are merely inconvenienced, remember those whose lives are at stake. May we, who have no risk factors, remember those most vulnerable. May we, who have the luxury of working from home, remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we, who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close, remember those who have no options. May we, who have to cancel our trips, remember those that have no place to go. May we, who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market, remember those who have no margin at all. May we, who settle in for a quarantine at home, remember those who have no home. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us yet find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbors. So let us, friends, remember this, and the programs in the week to come, it is the all the programs till we announce further will be the April flyer. Yeah, next Sunday, yeah. Next Sunday, it is in the month of March, there are no further Sundays, you know. So, and I don't see the April flyer, I don't remember. It is something, and the topic on the April 5th, it is actually Swami Tattvamayananda in the flyer that had been dispatched to you. Huh? Yes, yes. So it is changed since Swami Tattvamayananda is not coming up. The topic is that is seeing the proof of existence. That is the topic for next Sunday. The Tuesday and Friday classes will go on as usual, but online at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, the topic is that Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, and Friday, the topic is the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll now close with the regular closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. You can put that printed one, that not this one, because there is change in this.